now of Catholic cardinals on that famous balcony. And we will soon hear the voice of Cardinal Prevost, an American cardinal, the first of that nation to be the Pontiff of the Catholic Church. He's a 69-year-old cardinal. He was appointed by Pope Francis in September of 2023 from the ranks of the highest level. The Augustinian order is where he has his roots in the church. He's considered something of a moderate, something of a balancing figure. It is thought. He's known for, well, among the higher clergy, for his solid judgment, I'm told. His capacity to listen is seen as one of his defining features, and he's seen as having, well, clearly many of the qualities of Pope. He is now to take the name of Pope Leo the 14th that's his name. We now have a new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. We will very soon hear from Pope Leo in what will be the first formal address in his role as Pontiff. The crowd below in St. Peter's Square. Now, something of is quietening now, ready for what is to come. This is a truly emotional moment for them and for so many people. Just one of those moments in history. Kevin Schofield here with me, who happens to be a practicing Catholic. This will have meaning for you.
Oh, it's huge, absolutely enormous. An American Pope, certainly the first English-speaking Pope of my lifetime. 69, relatively young, I think, for a Pope as well. Leo the 14th, great name, if you ask me. And yeah, hugely exciting. And now we just wait to hear what he has to say.
And Donald Trump's going to be chuffed.
Oh, he'll try
because there's an American, he's going to claim it as a win.
Credit.
Trump's going to do a press conference probably later on claiming this as a win. Yeah. Maybe he'll get him on speakerphone.
Yeah. Yeah, we will find a way to claim credit for all of this. So there is a new Pope, Pope Leo. And when we hear the Pope speak, one presumes we will hear that first papal address on the balcony there in St. Peter's Square in English. No translation required, which is, I suppose, quite convenient for most of us.
It is, yeah, and with an American accent. It's going to be, very unusual, let's face it, for a Pope in the modern era. And, we'll wait and see what his outlook is. Clearly, he's got big shoes to fill. I think Pope Francis was a very significant Pope, and we wait to see how Pope Leo will, as I say, follow in his footsteps.
What are your thoughts, Joe?
I think really Kevin was right earlier about the sort of spectacle of this. It's incredible seeing the group of cardinals sort of just stood all in their finery, just to one side waiting for this. I actually do feel like I'm dressed in the right colour now for this moment. I've realised
well done.
There could have been another career for me if only there weren't lots of other reasons I couldn't. But actually,
and the makers of Conclave must be just rubbing.
I mean, just look at it. It's just incredible. And there's these, DVDs. And there are all these sort of religious figures you can see actually in the crowd who've got sort of cameras out, and they've got sort of old camcorder style recording devices that they're taking the footage of this. And it's just, it is a real spectacle, and quite impressive that they managed to do this so quickly, given that they've had form for taking. My son's actually already texted and said, "I'm really invested in this Pope business, Mum." And my son's not religious whatsoever, but he's obviously enjoying the spectacle of it. And maybe it could be a renewed thing for the Catholic Church, which is also not necessarily a bad thing, particularly in current times that we face. So it's nice to see an enthusiastic crowd. I would like to see us elect political leaders like this.
Yeah.
It would make the next Tory leadership much more interesting if we could sort of take a bit of this theatre around it rather than the way they do it.
We're learning more about the new Pope Leo. He's an American. He's multilingual, speaks fluent Italian and Spanish. He has spent time in Peru. He's seen as something of a reformer. I suppose time will show more of the new Pope's identity and as it were in Catholic terms, political leanings. Is he more of the reformist, liberal side of the Catholic Church? Does he have that sort of conservative tinge? To be elected, I suppose he will need to have satisfied those various factions in the conclave. It took 2/3, didn't it, Kevin, of those cardinals to elect a new pope. There was a couple of days of deliberation, so clearly they weighed up all the factors very, very carefully. And we will see over time, how far this new pope is treading in the footsteps of Pope Francis, who was seen as well, really quite distinctly liberal, and far too liberal from many other cardinals and many senior and traditional churchgoers' point of view.
Well, he was, in contrast to Pope Benedict before him and Pope John Paul II before him. They were seen as very conservative popes. So it will be interesting to see whether the new pontiff represents a shift in direction, because you've got to remember, he's not just a religious leader. It's a very political appointment too, and a political position. You know, what you say on things like war, on injustice, you know, things like that really, really matter, and they resonate with lots of people, and you know, they can annoy lots of political leaders as well. So not insignificant post politically. So it'll be very interesting to see what his views are.
So, well, the white smoke has billowed from the chimney stack at the Vatican. A new pope has been elected. The Swiss Guards, the historic, traditional escort and guard in the Vatican, have formed out in formation in St. Peter's Square. We are waiting for the formal announcement and soon for the appearance of the new pontiff. This was the moment the crowd heard the news. The new Pope will lead 1.4 billion Catholics around the world. And Ruth Gledhill from The Tablet joins us on the line. How is you, Ruth?
Good afternoon, good evening.
Hi, so you are, I suppose, in a state of some anticipation.
Yes, it's incredibly exciting. And after 4:30 went by and we didn't have a result, you know, I thought it might be today, actually. I had a feeling, but we thought it would be 6:30, and we're quite surprised that it came just after 5 like this. So, yeah, we can't wait to see who it is now.
And before that, we will have some of the pomp and pageantry going back a great many years. I'm looking up at the pictures of the plumed helmets of the Swiss Guard, the bicorn hats with tall plumes of the band playing in St. Peter's Square, and I can see clergy, I can see members of the public beaming with just joy and happiness at the news they're about to be told.
Yeah, it's an incredible atmosphere over there. We've got a correspondent over there, and we've got lots of writers over there as well. And everyone is abandoning their offices, their lecture halls, whatever activities they were doing today, and they're running, sprinting through the streets of Rome to get to St. Peter's Square on time to see this historic motion in person, this historic moment in person.
And Ruth, just take us through some of the pageantry which now follows. There's a designated a cardinal who will be announcing the news. Is that done in Latin?
Yes, it is done in Latin. And when they announced Pope Francis and said his name, they called him George, because it was in Latin. And everyone thought, who on earth is this? You know, no one had a clue who it was. Also because he wasn't a favourite as well.
Right.
So, but I think they'll be more prepared for that this time. And then they say Habemus Papa. And then he does his address that he'll do to the crowds in Italian, actually.
Yeah, if it's not too sacrilegious, I wonder if the bookies are laying odds on the name of the next pontiff, and that choice is purely for the Pope himself. It can be whatever he chooses.
It can be whatever he chooses. There's been lots of speculation whether it'll be another John Paul, maybe another Francis. It's interesting that Francis didn't go for Francis I. He just went for plain Francis.
Yes. For those who want to watch, by the way, the drama, the pageantry, the ceremony in St. Peter's Square now, there's a live feed for you there on the Times Radio YouTube channel. You can see it as well as hear it. And if you do happen to be watching it, I can tell you it is the most imposing, colourful spectacle playing out now in the build-up to the news, the announcement of the new Pope and the words of the new Pontiff himself. Ruth Gledhill at the Tablet, can you just give us a bit of a sense of the awesome task now sitting in front of the new Pope? What are the many challenges he's now facing?
Well, it's absolutely huge, you know, and Pope Francis was a man with a mission, and he faced an enormous task as well, which he actually did extremely well, considering the enormity of it. So you've got the two things, really. You've got the church and the problems in the church, the reform of the finances that still is ongoing, and all the problem of the paedophile sex scandals that really still does need addressing. And then you have the world, the church in the world. And then again, that branches out into more strands, and you've got the evangelization question. And in the chats before, in the general congregations, the emphasis was really on They want a Pope who will evangelize and a Pope who will bring unity. They don't want a divided church in our divided world. They think that would be very bad news, and so do most people, actually. So they want a church who can go out and, help to bring peace, help to maybe contribute from a gospel perspective to political problems and to global problems such as environmental issues, but also a Pope who can bring people to the church, and to make the church attractive and reveal to people, what the church regards as the gospel truths. And that's really important, and especially in parts of the world where the church is still growing, such as the developing world.
Yes. Ruth Gladio at the tablet, thank you so much for that expert perspective.